Hey my darlings, it's Alice here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video that is hopefully going to clear up a lot of questions that people seem to be asking a lot. I do get questions like on a daily basis and a lot of the time they are the same, so I just want to make this video to try to clear up any kind of answers or questions that you may have, and I think it's just a great way for you to kind of get to know me a little bit better too. The questions will actually be linked in the description below with a timestamp, so if you want to flick to a specific question, please go ahead and do so. If however this is the first video that you've just kind of stumbled across, I recommend that you go ahead and watch some of my other videos first, and then if you have any questions they will hopefully be cleared up in this video. So I have my laptop here filled with questions from you guys, and also I've just taken some that I have just been asked a lot and put them all together, so I'm going to be answering those for you today. Yeah, I guess we should just go ahead and get started because there's a lot of questions to get through. So this next category is all about luxury questions. This is one that I get questions on so much, like regarding luxury, because obviously I adore it and I have a lot of it. So yeah, let's answer these questions. The first question, how did you get into luxury? I guess I've always kind of admired luxury. Okay, wait, when I was a kid I didn't understand why people bought luxury. I grew up in a very humble family, you know, we lived a very modest life. We've never had like a ton of money, like ever. So I never grew up loving luxury, I guess. I always used to question like, why would people spend like $500 on a handbag when you could buy one for 50 or something, you know? I was all about saving money because I went to university and I had to like make my own way and have jobs and things like that, so it was all just kind of like surviving. And I guess I got into luxury because, well, let's say Instagram is very heavy on the luxury scene, and when I got old enough to kind of understand what luxury was about, I really started to admire Chanel and Dior for the designs, but more so Chanel because of the history of it. And I just think it's like the most beautiful and classy kind of brand, and I just fell in love with it, like head over heels in love with it, so shoot me. Yeah, I guess after I just started loving it, and then friends on Instagram was like buying it too, and I saw how they modeled it, I was like, actually this is really beautiful and I really want to try. So one day my partner and I were in the airport and I was like, oh, can we just pop into Chanel? So we did, and it was around Christmas time. I just took a look around in the boutique, and the kind of feeling of just walking around there being surrounded by so much luxury was, one, extremely intimidating, but two, it felt really good, and I don't know, I just felt really special because the staff is so nice and it was just an experience of its own, I guess. And anyway, I spotted this beautiful pink handbag, this one actually, and this was my very first handbag that my partner bought for me as a Christmas present. So this was my very first luxury item and I still love it so much to this day. It really means a lot as my first bag, so it will probably be with me forever for that reason. And since I owned my first handbag, it just felt so good to own something so beautiful, so timeless, and just so stunning. And it's pink as well, so I guess my love just kind of unfolded from there. Okay, next question, and one that I think everybody's really curious about, and that is, how do I afford luxury? So I actually have 2 jobs here in Tokyo, and I guess this is kind of how I can afford it. Also because luckily my partner supports me in various areas of my life, so there are a lot of things that other people would have to pay for, but luckily I don't have to. So I'm very lucky in that respect, but also because I've been doing, like, of course I've had various jobs over the years of being in Tokyo, but I've had one job which I've had for like basically the whole time of being in Tokyo, so I've had many years to kind of build it up and get better and earn more money from it, and I'll go into more detail about that in just a second. But because I've been earning money for like many years, I've had a chance to like save my money. In the past, I say in the past, for the 3 or so years before that in Japan, I've just kind of been saving the money because I didn't really feel like I had so much to spend it on. So I actually have quite a lot of savings, and I'm a big fan of saving money. Like, I always take a portion of my salaries and put them into my bank and just do not touch them. But that's not for my luxury goods, that's for just like saving. With regards to my luxury goods, because I have 2 jobs, combining the 2 salaries together, I'm able to afford luxury. Not like masses, of course. I have to be really picky with what I buy because I can't afford everything that I want, as I think most people can't. If something really steals my heart and I feel like I have to have it, then I will splurge and spend the money on it because I feel like it will be worth it. So yeah, that's basically how I do it. Sorry that was very long-winded, but yes. Okay, this brings us on to my next question. What do I do? Like, what is my job here in Tokyo? So as I explained in my last Q&A video, I do a secretarial type of job. I kind of work in an office but also from home, and it's basically international relations for this specific Japanese company. I can't really talk about it too much in detail, but basically it's just very officey. I'm communicating with people overseas, creating like documents and just things like that. So it's a pretty typical office job. And then my second job, which I didn't talk about in my last video purely because I just wanted to keep it kind of private, but seeing as everybody's so curious, I guess I can just go ahead and say it. I do what I like to call English assisting, and it kind of stemmed from private English teaching, but I don't really call it English teaching because I'm not teaching people English anymore. I'm assisting people or companies with their English problems or English needs, or basically just like checking their English. And because it is like a private job, I can create my own like wage, if you like my fee. So I have some clients who I work with on a regular basis. My job entails like document checking and helping out with presentations, or helping people for a business meeting that they're probably going to have the next day, or research things. I don't know, it's very interesting. Like, I work with a few people with lots of different projects going on, so I kind of help out with those projects, and they're all in different fields. Like, I've done things in healthcare, medicine, and things like that, so it's very like educational. I've actually really learned a lot from it, and I'm very grateful to have that job because I know, I just love learning new things, so it's like a really great opportunity for me. From that, I earn the wage that I have chosen for it, I pay my taxes, and then I just enjoy it. So yay! So now you finally know that I actually have two jobs here, and yeah, that's kind of my life. So all right, next question. Seeing as we're still on the luxury questions, my next question is, do you have any Hermes? And no, I don't have any Hermes. I would love a Birkin one day, but honestly they are out of my price range, and I kind of, okay, it's kind of a love-hate thing, I guess. Like, if somebody offered me a Birkin, of course I'm not going to turn it down. Well, as long as there's no catch. I kind of, I'm not really sure if I like the elitist kind of part of Hermes. You have to spend a lot of money with them and be like a regular customer in order for you to even be considered a Birkin, and even then you can't get the one that you want. And because I'm so picky with what I own, and I obviously love pink, you know, I wouldn't want to have to spend like hundreds and thousands of dollars on other bags and items that I didn't really love wholeheartedly just to get a pink bag one day in the future. I think if I own an Hermes one day, it will probably be pre-loved, or if somehow the gods grace me with extreme luck and one just happens to come along one day. But no, honestly, I guess I'm not really that bothered. Okay, I have a lot of questions about Japan, but I'm going to do those last because I know not everybody is curious about that. So I'm going to answer the questions that are kind of about me personally. So the first question says, how do you find time to take care of yourself due to demanding Japanese jobs? Well, as I explained, I don't think my jobs are overly too demanding. I guess, I don't know, I just do what I need to do, and then I have time for myself as well, and I think self-care is really important, so everybody should definitely make time for that. Next question, what's a pet peeve you have? I guess I kind of have a lot of pet peeves, but I guess one pet peeve would be mean people. I really don't like people who will go out of their way to hurt others, because I literally just do not agree with that. Like, every fiber of my body is just against hurting anybody. It just makes me feel so sad if somebody else does something to hurt somebody. It just, no, it doesn't sit well with me. And I guess another one is also people who don't respond on social media. Now, I know this is really weird, but of course I know that if a person is really quite famous and they have like so many followers, of course they're not going to be able to reply. It's perfectly normal. But if somebody doesn't have so many followers and they can definitely like reply, I feel like it's quite rude not to. Like, if somebody leaves you a comment saying something nice, I mean, all it takes is just a quick thank you, and it just really bothers me that people don't reply sometimes, because the people who are commenting actually go out of their way to make that nice comment. So I really appreciate nice comments, and I feel like if you do really appreciate them, you would say thank you for them, you know? Just feel like that's kind of natural. Okay, next question. How did you become confident in expressing your style? Honestly, I don't even know what my style is. I mean, I wear pink and I wear floral, and that's basically all. Like, I don't know, I guess I just don't dress down, but my style, I guess one day I just kind of realized that, you know, life is too short to worry too much. I mean, I still worry about a lot anyway, but with fashion I really enjoy it. So I feel like if I limit myself, I'm not happy. So just go out there and wear what the hell I want, and I don't know, it just made me feel good, and it makes me feel good every day when I step out the house and I feel good about myself. It's just, I don't know, a no-brainer, I guess. Okay, next question. Why do you wear pantyhose or tights always? Pantyhose, I don't like that word. That sounds a bit weird. Okay, tights. I wear tights all the time for so many reasons. I actually just said on my Instagram like about a week ago like why I wear tights, and I wear them with everything because they're just so comfortable. They really sculpt your body. They make your legs look shiny and nice, and you don't stick to things when it's hot, and then my shoes don't rub against my feet. And I've noticed if I wear shoes without tights, I will usually get blisters, and it's just always been like that. So I've just really loved wearing tights, I guess. Okay, next, what is your hair care routine? All right, I have a lot of questions on this, so I'm thinking of making a separate video for that. What is your diet and exercise routine like? Okay, my exercise routine, I go to the gym between 3 to 5 times a week, depending on how many times I can go. I go together with my partner. Honestly, if he didn't take me, my motivation for the gym would be non-existent. So I'm very grateful that he kind of kicks me out the backside and makes me work out. Otherwise, I would probably be super fat because I absolutely love sweet things like way too much. My diet is terrible, so I'm not even going to tell you about it. I basically just eat sweet things all the time. I'm so bad. Next question, do you drive a lot? No, I still can't drive. I haven't had a chance to learn yet, and I'm not interested in learning in Tokyo because you don't need to drive when there's like so many taxis and the public transport system is perfect. So I probably won't learn to drive for another few years yet. I just have no reason to drive right now, so yes. Do you want a pet? Yes, I want a pet so bad. I really would love to have a dog. I would love to have a little Chihuahua and also a fluffy Pomeranian, and they would be my babies. Just the thought makes me all giddy with excitement, but unfortunately, because my apartment is so small and I have lots of luxury goods around, and honestly, I don't think Tokyo is overly a great place to have pets just because the houses are so small and the weather like fluctuates so much. I don't have like a garden where they can run around, so I honestly think having a dog is something I will save till later life when I can let it run around a Western house with a garden and hopefully somewhere where our climate is a lot more stable. So, okay, what are things you appreciate in people? Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so to me, I really appreciate people who are honest and modest and thoughtful. I really love people who, I don't know, they're just real. They just be themselves. I think that is honestly the best way to make friends, and it's the best way to get to know somebody. Just be yourself. Like, of course, you can't please everybody, but you know, then you filter out all the bad people just by being yourself. So yeah, I just love people who are real and people who are modest and don't show off, are just like quite humble, I guess. I think that's really an attractive feature as well. Do you have any more goals to achieve? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I really want to own a house one day, and I guess that's probably what my savings are going to be for eventually, like when I want to settle down somewhere else, possibly, I don't even know, maybe in England, maybe in America. I guess it just kind of depends on the situation with Nobu and I, my partner. We don't really know what the future's going to hold, but yeah, one day I want to own a house. And another goal I have is I want to have a business. I want to create something really beautiful and cute and something that people will love, that is made from the heart. And at the moment I'm kind of like, I'm designing and I'm like figuring out a lot of things, and I guess I'm just kind of like brainstorming and deciding what I can make. I guess the anxious side of me is just kind of fearing what would happen if it failed, I guess. I think I would be really ashamed and sad. So I think that's kind of why I haven't started a business yet. But once I get past those fears, I would love love to start a business, and that's something that I guess I can look forward to for the future. Next question, do people judge you because of your pink style? Yeah, I guess they kind of do. I mean, not so much. I mean, not in Japan, but also I have people on the internet who I guess kind of judge it, because I think a lot of people still think that pink is it is a very feminine color, but they kind of judge it as being weak and like childish, and I totally don't agree with that at all. I think pink can actually be a very classy color. It just depends on like the design of something that you wear. Like if pink was really that childish, would Dior and Chanel and Louboutin be making items in that color? Like, no, I don't think so. Next question, why don't you wear Liz Lisa very often now? So I still have a few Liz Lisa pieces, but I honestly don't wear it very often now because I feel like I've kind of grown out of it a little bit. I don't really know how to describe it. I mean, for a long time it empowered me and it made me feel like amazing to wear it, and I just loved it. But now it doesn't give me that same kind of feeling, and I don't know why. I can't really explain it. I just kind of have found a love in other things, so I would say that's why I don't really wear it so often, but it's not like I'm never going to wear it again. If I fancy it one day, I totally will. Okay, so the next questions are all about Japan. So the first question is, how long have you lived in Japan? I have been here for 5 years in September, so it's a pretty long time, I think, yeah. Why and how did you go to Japan? Okay, I went to Japan because I had like a huge interest in Japanese culture when I was a teenager. I found out about Japan when I was 14 through like magazines and having Japanese pen pals, and I just was fascinated by the culture here. I just felt like there was more out there for me, I guess. So I made it my goal to go to Japan. And the rest of the question also kind of ties in with the next question. What was the hardest process I had to go through to get to Japan? So regarding how I got to Japan, like I said, I was 14, so at that time I was in secondary school. So after doing a bit of research, I knew that getting to Japan would not be an easy feat, but it's something that I really wanted, and honestly it was the only thing that I really wanted at that time. I found out that I would have to go to university to get a degree in order to be considered to get a job in Japan. So when I was at school, I studied hard. I made sure that I went to high school to do my A-levels. Horrible 2 years of my life. I absolutely hated every second of doing A-levels, but I knew that I had to do it in order to get to university. And then university, I would say honestly A-levels and university were like the hardest times, because 6 years of education that you don't necessarily have to do. I mean, university was great because I did 4 years of Japanese language and culture studies to kind of prepare myself for Japan. And one of those years I got to spend in Nagoya, so that was amazing. But honestly, it was really hard because I just kind of wanted to be in Japan already, and it was just tough in so many ways. I could like have a story time on my life and going to Japan and whatnot, but it was a long, drawn out process, so it's not something that, you know, I want to go back and think about. I did it because I wanted to come to Japan and I did it, so I feel that is an achievement, but I don't think I look back on it with the fondest of memories. So yeah, the education was definitely the hardest part of it getting here. After that it was kind of smooth sailing, but yeah, at the same time I still had a couple of problems also in Tokyo, which I guess I will leave for another story time video. Next question is it hard living in Tokyo? I wouldn't say living here is hard necessarily, but there are a lot of things that I do actually get really frustrated with, especially when it comes to like the culture difference and how different the people are here. For foreign people wanting to get jobs, unless you're really specialized in something, a lot of the time the salary is quite basic, so you probably won't earn any more than a basic wage, and that's kind of really frustrating. Also, Japanese people will always look at foreigners as being different. One thing that actually really annoys me here is when, for example, I go into a shop or I go somewhere and I speak to somebody in Japanese and then they try to speak back to me in English, and their English is probably terrible, so it's just a lot quicker to communicate in Japanese, but for some reason they just think that I'm completely inept and not able to speak Japanese for some reason despite me speaking it to them. It's just beyond me. I don't get it, but yeah, the fact that foreign people will always be seen as different or not able to do as much as Japanese people, it makes me feel like they're putting me on a different level. But at the same time, I do get admired a lot by Japanese people because I think foreign people are still quite new I mean, when I first got here, people would look at me wide-eyed and be like, oh my god, a foreigner. Now it's not so bad in Tokyo because there's so many tourists and stuff, so they're getting used to it, but at the same time, I just feel like they'll never see us on the same level. Also, the language barrier is really hard. I mean, Japanese language is hard. It may be easy to pronounce and it may be easy to learn, like the sentence structure and words and whatnot, but honestly, how they speak is so indirect and it's just so confusing that sometimes they'll say something and it means something completely different. Honestly, I can't describe it. It's just so weird. And there's been many times when I've been having a conversation with somebody or somebody said something to me and I've replied them in Japanese, but then they've looked at me weird because they were talking about something else and I'm like, oh, so you meant it that way, but you know, it's not clear enough for me and I don't really like that, so that can get quite frustrating, to be honest. Okay, next question. Do I speak fluent Japanese? No, I'm definitely not fluent, but I would say that my Japanese skill is intermediate. Honestly, I haven't really improved much since I graduated from uni. I guess what with having to use it a lot, I've improved and the speed in which I can speak has increased. But honestly, everything I do here is English. My job is English, my partner speaks English, my friends are all English, and even menus and things are also becoming more English related now. So honestly, you can get around without knowing Japanese, I think, to a certain extent, but my language is more conversational, and yeah, that's about the degree in which I speak it. And I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be in Japan, so I don't really feel a need to have to improve it. I don't have any areas of my life which necessarily need it, so I'm not making the effort to, which is probably really bad, but I don't see a point if I don't need it. So all right, next question. I get this a lot. Actually, I get a lot of questions about people asking me about how to get a job in Japan and whatnot, but this is a very frequently asked question, and this is it possible to work in Japan without a degree? Short answer to that is no. You need some kind of degree, whether it be a university one or a specialized studies one. You have to have some kind of degree to show that you have the education to work here. That's the answer to that one. Do you plan to stay in Japan forever or move back to England? Honestly, at this moment in time, I really don't know. I definitely don't plan to stay in Japan forever. I think I've kind of, you know, I've stayed and I've enjoyed traveling and I've enjoyed the culture, and I do love a lot of things about Japan and Tokyo, which other countries don't have. So I will always hold that close to my heart. But at the same time, I feel so much curiosity to go and explore the rest of the world now as well. I think I'm kind of making that my priority. I've definitely enjoyed being here for how long I've been here, but the future is uncertain as of right now. So that was all the questions. I hope I managed to answer a lot of the queries that there are out there about my life and me, myself. I would really appreciate it if you would leave me a comment. I love to hear from you always. I guess until next time, take care and I'll see you then. Bye bye!